praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakodash. Double honors and salutations to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Wah, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. The water for your diligence through all these years. You're definitely worthy of the title. The water for your diligence, for your hard work. As scripture says, we are entering into another man's labor. So once again, the water for you. Shalom to the number one, to the 144,000. The governing body, the elect men that are scattered throughout the four corners of the globe that are pushing this very word in this very hour. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the innumerable 1/3 that consists of men, women, and children that have been blessed with the mark of the Tawah, which is exemptment from the judgment that is fast approaching. All right, I'm the brother Yazarayala from the GMS Dallas camp coming back at you. And this is actually a GMS class here. I got the priests with me. The name of this lesson is Victory is Nigh. Now I have the priests introduce yourselves, brothers.
Khan, I'm the brother of Warga. Shalom. My channel is Rehearsal of Righteousness with all caps. Brother Warga, Shalom.
Shalom. My name is Malak. My page is GMS Moral of the Story 777.
Shalom, it's your brother Gadal, and my page is GMS Babylon Gone 144.
Gone. And I'm Yazarayala, GMS The Scattered Stone. All right, as I said, this is coming back at you with another quick lesson here. This is Tuesday night camp. We usually go out and about, but here in Dallas, weather's been really, really hectic. So brothers are getting together and feeding the sheep. The manger is open in different locations that brothers have in their homes. So anyway, without further ado, as I said, the name of this lesson is Victory is Nigh. All right, and we're in the latter end time here right now where all these things are taking place. Here, what we're going to go into is there's a video that one of the brothers brought to our attention with everything that's happening right now with this new techno tyranny that's being built and set up as we speak, right? This fourth industrial revolution that's being fought and being raced to with all the nations. All right, so everyone knows everything that's going on. We're coming into that techno era. We have Stargate. Right, we have the AI that's and $500 million or $1 billion that's being put into this infrastructure. So we're in these times. All right, so we have a video here that one of the brothers I said brought out. Going into it's a platform that Esau has. He's had for a while now. Now the brothers and I talked about it, and it's kind of modeled after a movie in the 80s called War Games. All right, and if any of you know about that movie or familiar with that movie, you're going to kind of know what I'm talking about. Now, this is us platform, or this, I should say, legislation ultimately is what it is. That's been prescribed by the devil, Esau Edom himself. It's called Project Looking Glass. All right. And we'll get into it. I'll let the brothers, kind of elaborate on it. But it's basically, it's a platform that Esau Edom uses to be able to kind of dictate future events with different scenarios. Ultimately, what he's trying to do is get out of the destruction that's coming and get back his birthright. Okay, and so this man is trying to change everything he possibly can to get out of the destruction and the judgment that's coming to him. And as we know, the Lord is not having any of that.
It's 8 o'clock.
All right, so I just wanted to pull one precept, and brothers, you got it. This is Isaiah 46:10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times and the things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So as I mentioned, with this man trying to change things, well, this movie that the Lord has written, all right, that we're living right now has been declared from the very beginning how it was going to end. Okay. And with that being said, as I said, these people, Esau, Edom, they're doing whatever they can to scramble to try and change the scenario, right? To basically try and change their judgment that's fast approaching. But the Lord had already set up and mandated and structured how things are going to be. All right. So all this stuff has to be played out. So when the Lord says, my counsel shall stand, this is prophecies, the tokens, and everything that he put forth that he said is going to happen and be manifest in the earth. It's going to stand. All right. And he will do all of his pleasure. And it is a pleasure to take down this wicked and adulterous kingdom. All right. Piece by piece. Deuteronomy 7:22. Okay. So we're in that latter in time where the Lord is doing his work. Esau, Edom's judgment has been set. The prophets of the Lord have the testimony, and the clock is ticking. All right. So if any one of the brothers have any precepts or anything, let's get into it.
Yeah,
I
want
to real quick. My bad, Slacky, Malak. Did you have some?
Yeah, well, I wanted to make a point because you said, well, This is a beautiful scripture, Isaiah 46:10, that declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand. And of course, we know that that counsel, right, is of course his word, like his physical, what the Lord has declared as well.
That's right.
Um, I want to get that word real quick. Tazah, right? It says that counsel, advice, purpose. Okay. And we know that
His will.
even in Esau's legislation, he has what you would be called a council, right? A group of individuals that make decisions.
Yep.
All right. And we know that that group of individuals that make decisions in these times is going to stand as well. All right. And that's through the word, you know, Yahweh Shai. All right. That the Lord, the Most High sent Yahweh Shai. But beneath that, you would have men that will follow him and be, that will follow the Lamb whithersoever he will go, And I wanted to get this real quick because we stand in as that council as well, with standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, man.
That's right.
But this is Second Ezra 2:40. It says, "Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord." And right now, what you're witnessing is the nation of Israel. My bad. Let me share the screen. But what you're witnessing right now is the nation of Israel, fulfilling the law of the Lord, man. This is a fulfillment of the law of the Lord. The Lord said that, we will be removed from our heritage, but then he will raise up shepherds that will feed us with knowledge and milk, and wisdom, and bring us back to the, and bring the, bring the nation back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man, and be leaders.
That's right.
So yeah, that's partially fulfilling this law. But it says, the number, verse 41, the number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. Right. And that this hallowing process, this being made holy, clean process is happening right in front of your eyes. Israel is coming back and repenting. Right. Me and the brother, Iraq, I'll just say real briefly, we was out Sunday, going to a little coffee shop, man. Seen a dude preaching across the street from the coffee shop, in the middle of a college campus, man. So you can't tell me that Israel is waking up, man, and the people haven't heard this hollowing. They haven't seen it as a witness of us turning back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, crying out unto the Lord. But it says, verse 42, I, Ezra, saw upon the mount of Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praise the Lord with songs. And that's that same song that was in Exodus, the 15th chapter, as well as it parallels in Revelation, the 15th chapter. And it's the same song that's in our mouths, okay, the one that we're singing. This new song, the Lord hath put a new song in our mouth. That's the truth, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding that we are right now speaking unto you. Y'all witnesses, right? It says, verse 43, and in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. And so I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These are they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and confessed the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. Okay, of Israel being shown as being victorious over the enemy, over all the adversaries that we have, and yeah, that's what we're looking forward to, man.
Beautiful.
And shalom to the brother Asmawaf. Yahweh Shai Brakatah.
God.
Awarga, you had something?
Nah, you can go ahead and play it. I actually I'll bring it out later. You go ahead and play it, the clip. I'll bring it out later.
Okay.
Real quick, shalom to the GMS brother chosen vessel 144. Shalom to you. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's Asmawaf.
Okay, he got 2 channels.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
His other one got he got smacked up.
He's laughing right now. Listen,
Yeah, it's all
my
good. It's
brother.
all good.
Let's go.
There's one that's slipping with his tongue, but not with his heart. So it's all good. Okay. Yeah. So what we have here is a little treat for y'all brothers, man.
Yeah.
This is a documentary, on Project Looking Glass, which is going to kind of break itself down, but we're just going to kind of let it rock out for a few minutes and make points. So
like, can I add one point real quick?
mhm.
When y'all can watch this video, they resurfaced this idea to the public with the Stargate because they mentioned AGI and ASI, right? And if you go into ASI, it's literally the same concept of the looking glass. It's the same concept with the ASI. They just gave it a new title because even when Yazra, like he had made a point of mentioning the fourth industrial revolution. But what did they crown the fourth industrial revolution as? They crowned it as the intelligent age.
Right.
You see, so they start changing these titles to make them sound more convenient for the masses of the people, so they could be more apt to indulge in it and to submit to the beast at the end of the day. But I just wanted to throw that out there. So ASI it's the same concept as this, man. They just brought it to the public and put new title ASI, Same thing though.
Yeah, to
If
make it
you
more.
go into ASI, you'll see, but same concept, but you got it.
Yep.
You was gonna say something, Yazrava?
No, I was just saying to make it more appealing. Ultimately, they're dressing it up, all right, before they pretty much is what he's going into, which is exactly right. Changing the name and dressing it up because why? The prophets are pretty much out here. We've been warning, started right here, apostles on down, 30, 40 years is what this is and what this ultimately going to be. So we know that these people have been listening to the men of the Lord out here. So they're dressing it up, right? They're trying to change it up and make it more appealing. But ultimately, it all boils down to the MOTB, man. You got it.
Con. And we know about Trump's Stargate announcement, when
Yes.
he talked about the AI infrastructure, the Stargate project.
Yep.
This age of information that we're in is is being brought up, because it's inevitable. It's something that's necessary for the people to get used to, because they pretty much want to pacify you off of this AI, um so that they can further control you. They can further control you, and that's what this Looking Glass project is going to go into. It's going to show you that what the astrologers, the sorcerers of this time, Esau Edom has been doing, man, is um playing with these demons uh to see if he could overcome the will of the Lord, man. And we know that that's not about to happen. So but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Bring that on the subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass, because they would use Looking Glass knowing the choices that they would make and the future would pop up. The big mistake was coming up with the possibility of future. And when we started using a computer to say, well, if we make this choice, it's 79% possible that this scenario happens, and 23% are possible, or whatever, using round numbers, that this scenario would happen. The understanding at the time was that was realistic. However, if you go down the road further and free will continues to exercise itself on this game, that 79% possibility sometimes changes very, very fast. But if you look at the situation in a point of time, it seems very realistic that that's the greatest possibility. What happened was people, very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities.
If I could say too, real quick, I got a precept. Cause you know, you can't people would throw around this term loosely, free will.
Right.
You know, this word free will is just tossed here and there. Like you think you controlling something. No, man. The Lord is playing a Sims game with your ass. Okay. He's making you do whatever he wants you to do, man. All right.
Right.
He can't if you think you got free will, you watching this stream right now, try your hardest not to think about a green pool table. You just thought about it, bro. You know, you don't have no free will. That's a
Right.
stupid concept, this fucking Edomite thought process to think about.
Right.
All right. But this is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24.
Let's go.
It says, man's goings are of the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. How can a man then understand his own way? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's plain.
Yep. Lines right up with Isaiah 46 and 10 we brought out. You got it?
Yep. So I just want to make that.
I got one, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yep. Let's do it. Baba Kushai. And any precepts, y'all just stop me. I'm gonna pull them up on the screen, like I said.
Could you pull Romans 9 and 19 just real quick? Just laying back off the point that the priest going into of that free will concept. That's some BS that the creation created. Ultimately the Lord had them make up that concept at the end of the day. You see. So we'll read this Romans 9 and 19. It says, "Thou will say then unto me, why doeth he yet find a fault? For who have resisted his will?" Because at the end of the day, as the priest pulled out in Isaiah 46, the Lord counsel is going to stand. So at the end of the day, the Lord already had it set up from the beginning how everybody was going to operate. So that eliminates free will. There's no, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Here it is. Like as we finna go into that video, as they go into it, you're gonna realize how they didn't have free will. You created all these scenarios, but at the end of the day, they all lead to the same ending. Why? Because you have no free will. At the end of the day, they're gonna lead to where the Lord wanted to lead to. You see? So you got it.
That's right.
Slaggy.
What's up, brother? Come on, let's get it.
Yeah. I high key got two, but yeah, I'm gonna get them. It's Proverbs chapter 21, and you started verse 1. Or get verse 1.
I can read it for you.
Go ahead, bro.
This Proverbs 21 and 1. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will."
So as it's pretty much self-put, man, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? Which is what the government, right? That Trump, pretty much, as the brother already got, a man's goings of the Lord. Lord's controlling everybody, right? And it says at the end, he turneth it whithersoever he will, right? So it'll let you know, man, it's like whatever the Lord wants to happen is going to happen, right? That leads me to the Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 11, Baba Kushai, unless one of y'all want to speak on it too. Because like the brother said, man, these people think they got really in this society, you have the illusion of choice, right? You don't really have a choice like you think you do. Oh man, I'm gonna do this tomorrow or whatnot. Scriptures goes into how a man deviseth his way, but the Lord directed his steps.
Right.
So it's like just with that simple mindset, man. That's why it's just so important that we pray for literally everything, because the Lord he decides whether you study or not. He decides whether you even make a lesson. He decided that me, Malak, Yazarala, Ariel, and Walker's gonna do camp lesson today at home. Right? That was enough of us. I didn't think it was gonna be like this. I thought it might have been maybe a couple of different brothers. Hell, I might have did it by myself. But we could go ahead and get the Isaiah Baba Kushai.
I'm gonna say this real quick before you say that. Even the point you just made, Slocky. Even the point you just made, you will, like you just said, you'll say, "I'm gonna do this." And you don't even do it. That lets you know you don't got free will. Cause why you didn't do the shit? Exactly, because you don't control it. It shows it's out of your control. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gas station and I'm gonna head over to this appointment. They go completely different. The Lord shows you right there. You don't control shit. You just mere creation. Just to add that point, Slocky.
God, you know what? Since we're here, I'm just going to throw one more in here and we can just move on. And this is just to tighten it up because, as you said, that's been a big folly within our nation, within the world in general. This is Job 33 and 15, real quick. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men and slumbering upon the bed, then he who, the Lord, opened the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. Why? That he may withdraw men from his purpose. Right. Just like the priest said. How many times you woke up the next day and you feel you got all these plans? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden your car's flat. You don't do this. You're not able to do that. So you have a purpose or an idea what you want to do. But if it's not according to the Lord, it does not matter what you're going to do. So as Isaiah 46 and 10 says, he's already created or written how the story goes. So each one of us has angels that are over us. And that night, the Lord sends those angels to seal the instructions of what you're going to do the following day, which is going to draw you away from your purpose. Because ultimately, what you do or what you think doesn't matter. It's what the Lord wants to have done on the earth, ultimately. So just to back up what the priest was saying, you got it.
Hey, Akim, let's remember when you call for a preset, let me pull it up on the screen so people that's taking notes can can follow along and see what we getting, and we can pull words and whatnot. Good dog. I still got this 55 and this Isaiah 55 and 11.
Baba Kushah. My
It
bad.
says,
I'll read it.
"So shall my word be." No, I can read it, bro.
Yeah, you got it.
It says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it."
As it says, man, it shall not return unto me void. And Baba Kushah, we could probably go ahead and get into that word void, right? Because it says his word's gonna go out and it is not gonna return into him void. What does that word void even means? Right? We should already know, but let's go ahead and get it. Go ahead and look into it. See the brother getting it.
Yep. That word void is rayakwam. Rayakwam says vainly, emptily, an empty condition without effect.
Without effect. So the Lord is not going to say something and he ain't going to hold no weight to it, right? The scriptures goes into him, man. A king's word is there is his power, right? So how much more you hold? The Father of all spirits, man, right? And his brother has got like literally in the beginning of this, lesson, right? How basically, thank you. It's just my mind slack.
46 and 10.
Yeah, Isaiah 46 and 10. I forgot how it went.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Declaring the end from the beginning. Just how we got in the beginning of this lesson, right? So the Lord not finna say something and it's just not finna happen. Like, nah, bro. Like everything that's going on this planet Earth, the Lord wanted it exactly how he wanted it, right? Ain't nothing doing something a second earlier or a second later, right? Ain't nothing just like on that Satan bullshit that anti-Christians believe in. Nah, bro. Everything is within order, right? Even the video that we're watching, but that we're going to watch more of, that's within order to let you know. Like you saw it, even though it's like, man, like, boy, this and that, it's inevitable, But yeah, that's all I really had on that. Unless y'all want to make more points on that.
Yeah, we'll just go back to the video. Let this rock out.
Kind of go ahead, bro.
Of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility, sometimes changes very, very fast. But if you look at the situation in a point in time, it seems very realistic. That's the greatest possibility. What happened is very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the looking glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point. That's the big secret.
Okay, so is that certain point?
All right, so just to recap what we just saw,
I got a precept.
Bill expresses here that as he worked on this project and found out what had been done and started to get involved, he realized and saw that they had been running probabilities into the future for a while with this thing, and they kept finding that after 2012, every possibility they fed in would always end up at the same event in the future from 2012. So
I just want to kind of get
let him
recover it.
and for stuff we can't see, because you know this video well, if you can kind of narrate, for the stuff that can't necessarily be heard.
Oh, were y'all be able to hear that?
I mean,
Yeah, I was able to hear it.
Heard it, but
I was, but
some
I
of the
don't
stuff
know.
kind of broken. So for the listeners out there, if you kind of maybe want to narrate some of the stuff that may have been lost or add to whatever, but if
Okay.
not, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can because it might be a little hard to understand context, right?
Yes.
But I wanted to get this Stargate, a Looking Glass project. Pretty much what they were doing. All right, and you even had this in the ancient world, right? They called it scrying, right? And I'm gonna read this a little bit to you. Okay. This is like witch and warlock, what they would go into. Left hand witchcraft. All right. It's a practice. It says scrying is a practice that involves looking into a reflective surface to gain insight, messages, or visions. Okay. Also knowing as seeing or peeping. All right. So when they come up with this, the CIA is a cover up for a big ass witch coven. Okay. If you did not know. Let me zoom in because this is kind of
They remind me of like you said, it remind me of if brothers haven't seen it or have, it remind me of that Snow White movie, Mirror Mirror on the Wall. I don't know if y'all seen it.
Yep,
that's exactly what it is.
Exactly what
But
it is.
that's,
Beautiful.
yeah, I don't know if brothers seen it. That's pretty much what he's going to.
Yep. So and this says scrying can be done with mirrors or crystal balls, water, fire, or clouds. And that's how they worship these deities. Even the modern day phone, right? Like the black, because when you look at a scrying disc, it's just a black it's a black mirror. See the art of black mirror, right? It's a black mirror. The phone acts as a scrying um glass in itself. All right.
TV as well.
It's something that did a TV, right? You often get the word because TV tell a vision, right? It tells you a vision. When you turn it off, it's black mirror. You turn it off. Why is that? Is that just because of is that just coincidence? No, man. These things are they were used in the ancient world. Like you think this technology that you have here today um is new? No, man. It's just in a different form, a different font than it was in the ancient world, man. All right. It says
Hey, Malak, when
why
you
scrying
finish,
is done.
I got a precept. I
Con-
said, it's like I don't cut you off. When you finish, I got a precept. Just so you know. You got it
Okay,
though.
I got you. This word, it says why scrying is done. It can be used for personal guidance, inspiration, or find answers to questions. And the main answer to the answer that Esau Edom is trying to find is that he's trying to find the answer to how can we keep this thing going? How can I stay in rulership? How can I you know pretty much find immortality? And that's what you get when you look at the Stargate project, which I'm gonna just link up why this is important, what we're going into real quick. This we seen this right with Trump when you gave that announcement of the Stargate project. All right, I'm gonna let this rock out just for a moment. God damn, this is embarrassing. Freaking buffering. Anyway,
That's just that's Satan.
I'm gonna just read it. Trump announces 500 billion AI infrastructure investment in the U.S. All right, AI infrastructure says top 3 tech firms on Tuesday announced that they will create a new company called Stargate. All right, note that word Stargate. Okay, it's a very important key word why they're pulling that out. Stargate is the new version of the Project Looking Glass. Okay, that's the same project process.
What is the greatest thing that has made or would make?
All right. What precept did you want? I'm gonna pull it up on the screen.
Could you get Isaiah 47 and verse 12? But read it in NLT.
I got you, brother.
Well, I could read it, but get it in NLT.
It's a 47:12. Yup.
Stand down without enchantments.
It's Isaiah 47:12 in the NLT. It says, "Now use your magical charms, use the spells you have worked at all these years. Maybe they will do you some good. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you."
Exactly. And that's what you see happening. Because as we're going into the video, we're talking about the Stargate, which is a revival or a concept being revived, which they already been into it. It ain't never been revived. They always been into it. They just brought it to the public. You know what I'm saying? What was it called? The glass mirror. What's it called? Glass mirror?
Scrying mirror.
Yeah, scrying. That's all it is. Because we know at the end of the day that, when you read Revelation, it says the mother, you know what I'm saying, of all abominations. So we know Esau took a lot of those concepts from him and just, you know what I'm saying, amplified them pretty much because he the wicked, you see? And what we see is that he's trying to do, as we read it, the magical charm, he's trying to do all this witchcraft to ultimately, at the end of the day, show that, oh, I win. But at the end of the day, the Lord is having him doing this because it's mockery of him, showing that okay, he's doing this witchcraft, he's doing these things, and then they're all telling him it's just like when you read Daniel when not Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, the writing on the wall. That's what Esau's pretty much seeing. He's seeing pretty much that my kingdom is doomed. Every time I do these certain inventions, do these certain projects, do these certain what I'm saying, things to eventually show me the future, they all lead to my ass losing. And it can't be that because there ain't no fucking way I lose. As it speaks about in Obadiah, that pride had deceived thee. You see?
Right.
Can you read verse 13?
Kind. It says, verse Isaiah 47:13, "All the advice you receive has made you tired. Where are your astrologers, those stargazers who make your predictions each month? Let them stand up and save you from what the future holds."
Exactly. That's what you see happening. All those, what I'm saying, scriptures speak about the Chaldeans and things. This is spiritual, Sodom, spiritual Egypt. You see? So here it is, Esau. Imagine that. You sitting here because that happened in ancient time. In ancient time, they didn't want to hear from particular prophets because they didn't want to hear the truth. So Esau, here it is. He's having his prophets on the left hand side tell him at the end of the day, you fucked. That's what he's hearing. But he don't like that. He keeps hearing, okay, what if we do this? What if I do this? Oh, it didn't work because of this. What if I do this? Well, guess what? What if you do this is in the will of the Lord? Because at the end of the day, everything you do is all going to lead to your system being you trying to establish your system and the Lord taking you out of position.
Right.
At the end of the day, as brothers say, all roads lead to the sea hip. You see? So anything Esau does, whether he try to, dress it up as this, dress it up as that, try to, what if we do this? Even with the concept of the NATO and the EU, you try to add more nations. No, these things you're doing at the end of the day all lead to the will of the Lord being played out. You can't resist the will of the Lord. Nobody's outside of the will of the Lord. Your very rulership is only able to happen by the fact of the will of the Lord. It tells you about that in Daniel. He set the basis of men over it. So you think that just stopped there? Oh, you got set up now. The will of the Lord is not in effect. No, it's going to be in effect until the sons of God coming back into Jerusalem. And it's going to stay in effect. You see, because the Lord is outside of time. So I just wanted to point that because that's what you see Esau doing. He's trying to make these enchantments. He's trying to do these things, and he's trying to maneuver around prophecy. But nigga, you're playing right into play of prophecy. You just don't know it. You see, you got it.
Yep. You have been deceived. You have deceived yourself.
I got a precept.
Kind.
If you don't mind, in KJV, Jeremiah 16:19.
Yep. Let me switch this over. This is Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19. It says, oh, come on now. It says, "O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
Yeah. So, that's starting out first with Revelation 11 and 8, where that great fear is falling upon, all these nations, and mainly so-called mainly Esau. And that first part, that my strength and my fortress, you can, reference that to Psalms 23. And with these Gentiles coming, speaking of what that, man was talking about, how, them trying to stop everything. And even though they already know the end, it's amazing that, the Most High put the spirit on them and still try to stop it. But at the end, his word's gonna speak. And this is prophecy right here that, they already showing that they've been in that they been inherited lies. Because that's what he was speaking to that lady about this awakening. And that's why he got to talk around it, because they know that, hey man, that we know who the true people of the Lord is. So, they can try it, but it's not gonna profit them anything, at the end of the day. But that's it. That's all I got.
Yep, that's right. And at the end of the day, the Lord's will is gonna stand. Um, yeah, let's get through this video.
Good.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was gonna say the precept, but yeah, let's listen to the video.
more gonna come out when we finish it up.
Yeah, so you got it.
As they would run these different scenarios time and time again, if they went past 2012, they would always converge in an event, some big happening that everything then coalesced into, and that no decision that was made prior to that point was going to change anything about that point in time. Now, he doesn't mention what point in time that is. I have thoughts on that I'm going to share at the end of this video, but just to kind of recap what he said there. And then next, he's going to talk about how this singularity, this convergence of history that was coming up in the future from when they were using the device, and he's talking about, I think this interview was in about 2009, and he had been working on the project, I think in the very late 90s is when he said earlier in this video that I didn't show, that he had been working on the project. So let's listen to what he says about how the elites in the world got wind of what was going on and how they felt about it.
It well coincides with December 21st, 2012.
So at that point, all possibilities lead to the same
timelines. All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future.
And what is that history? Did you know that, or did you find that out?
That is the big question. That is the big secret. That is what sends everybody that has all the information, that knows everything, into a blind panic. The people that know everything about Looking Glass, that have gotten all the reports and all the information, the elites of the world, probably figured out that was the end of the game. And nothing could be manipulated beyond that point.
So he continues talking about contracting timelines and what that means. So I may play through a few clips here in a row.
They cannot go beyond it.
Yeah. Okay. Just to recap, right? Pretty much what they found out through this project of them being able to look through these scrying glass, talk to these entities, these deities, and see the future. It really all came down to one catastrophic event. Okay. And we know that there's about to be a catastrophic event, man. The Lord is about to plague the world, man. We know that the ICBM missiles, Isaiah the 34th chapter, Isaiah the 24th chapter, okay, Revelation 18, right? That war, these missiles are gonna be shot off, man. And it's gonna be a very catastrophic event, but yeah, I wanted to read this real quick. This is Isaiah 41:1. It says the Most High's help for Israel, because there is going to be a certain amount of mercy that's going to be given as well, to those that abide in the truth, that stand for Yahweh Bashim Shai's name, man, which he's going to talk about how truth is ultimately going to triumph, and right now, right, all us brothers, we even say that as a a colloquialism, right? Or just a little saying, right? How we're in the truth. All right. Well, that truth is going to act as a preserving agent for when these plagues really do start to happen. Okay. But this Isaiah 41 and 1, it says, listen in silence before me, you lands beyond the sea. Bring your strongest argument. Come now and speak, for the court is ready for your case, right? And the Lord is talking to these other nations, you know. Lord is talking to these other nations, right? They have their idea of how things will play out, right? They have their idea of what they think is gonna happen.
Mhm.
But the Lord, it said that the Lord's word shall stand, not what nobody else is saying. It says, who has stirred up this king from the east, rightly called him to the most high service? Who gives this man victory over many nations and permits him to trample their kings underfoot with his sword and reduces armies to dust with his bow? He scatters them like chaff before the wind. He chases them away and goes on safely, though he is walking over unfamiliar ground. Who has done such mighty deeds, summoning each new generation from the beginning of time? It is I, the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, the first, or I'm sorry, Yahweh, the first and the last. I alone am He. The lands beyond the sea, which watch in fear, remote lands tremble and mobilize for war. The idol makers encourage one another, saying to each other, be strong. The carver encourages the goldsmith, and the molder helps at the anvil. Good, they say. It is coming along fine, and that's what they're saying with this work. As these WHO, these NGOs, these non-government officials, they're doing is right now they're preparing work, right? They're practicing that great work. All right, that same work that Nimrod was a part of building, Nimrod led the apostasy against the individuals or against the Most High on the earth and led the nations to pretty much wanting to come to fight and confront Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. And Esau is in that same seat today, considering that he has rule over the earth. And what they're trying to complete is that work. All right, they're trying to build up that proverbial Tower of Babel, through this Stargate project, through this AI infrastructure, through this experiment, which um, everybody's enamored at. So that's what it's saying. It says they come and say it is coming along fine. That work, right? Carefully, they join parts together. They fasten the thing in place so it won't fall over. But as for you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, my chosen one, descendant of Abraham, my friend, I have called you back from the ends of the earth, saying, you are my servant, for I have chosen you, and I will not throw you away. Okay. But see, the work, the work that they tried to do was ultimately to destroy us. But see, the Lord is building us back up, and that's ultimately going to magnify itself as these catastrophic events take place. The truth is going to be lifted up, man. And the truth is, as it says in the Apocrypha, man, the truth that had been so long without fruit then shall flourish. Right now, we're seeing the beginning stages of that truth flourishing, but it's going to even magnify itself even more.
Beautiful.
Mhm. Oh, could you get Psalms 2, if you don't mind?
hmm Yep.
Psalms 2. We'll read it in the KJV.
Con. Let me get
Verse
that.
1.
Con. Let's see. Come on now. There we go. Psalms 2 and 1. It says, oh, and I'll say this. It says for the title, the reign of the Lord's anointed. Okay. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Hold it right there. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? We just went into that word vain, man. We just went into it. Empty, worthless. So as just going to, Esau, that makes you think about that Obadiah, how Obadiah goes into the pride of thy heart had deceived thee. You see, Esau has gotten to the point to where he got exactly to where the Lord wants him at. He's gotten to the point to where his own pride has got him to the point to make him thinking that I can actually go blow for blow with the Lord.
Mhm.
I can actually fight the Lord, you know? And that's why, what it says in Psalms 21, why do the heathen rage? Why do the people imagine the vain thing? 'Cause we know who's the head of the heathen. It's Esau right now. So they're imagining a vain thing. They're imagining a vain vision. Scripture say where where there's no vision, the people perish. Well, Esau has a vision, but it's vain. That's why he keeps going countlessly. It kind of makes you think about what the scriptures say. They said unto us, prophesy unto us smooth things. You know, Esau's doing the same shit. He wants his technology, his prophets to say, you gonna win. That's what he want. But every time he comes to his prophets, they tell him what? I ain't gonna lie, boss. Your ass still lose. And he don't like that shit. So he's moving with the motive of his pride, like, fuck this technology. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna win. That's what he thinks. But literally, that the Lord had this set up from the beginning. That all this shit was gonna happen, man. That's why we reading this, because when you read it in the NLT and you go down, it tells you what's his complete motive, because he wants to eventually not be, put in a position where he's conquered by the Israelites. Judah 5 goes into that. The nations know the chief of them, I'll say. Not you. If you walk up to an everyday Edomite, he ain't gonna know what the fuck going on. The chief of the Edomites, they know that if they get back and get back parallel with their power, they know that it's over for us. And that's why they're so adamant about coming from members that are from GMS and members that or anybody that's preaching this certain type of doctrine, because they know that that doctrine sounds a lot like the previous prophets. That doctrine right there, they ain't folding. Ultimately, he ain't got his hands in it. So Esau's kind of scrambling. He's in a position where the the lease owner came to him and told him like, "Hey, you ain't paid rent in the last 3 months. I need my shit by tomorrow." That's what position he's in. Esau's in the position where he's gotta do what he gotta do as quick as possible. Hurry up, get it done, because he see what's happening. He's starting to see that when his prophets told him you ain't gonna win, he's starting to kind of see it in a sense. Because if he didn't see it, why the hell would he make bunkers? Because he's like, just in case that nigga right, I'm gonna be ready for the backup plan. You see, that's what Esau. That's what's happening. Esau's fumbling. He's like, shit, fuck that shit. We gonna win. But just in case we don't win, I got me a bunker. That's what Esau's doing.
Yeah.
As you was going to that, to see the plans are good. Esau say, yeah, the plans are good. It look good. But Esau know, like, man, fuck. Just in case I lose, I got a backup. Because something in him was telling him like I might possibly lose this shit. But he got a backup. I'm gonna just hide out. They ain't gonna find me. Even that got pride to it. And I'm gonna hide and they ain't gonna find me. So you can just stop it at that verse. Don't even read the rest. I just wanted to read that first verse. Going to how the heathen rage and they imagine a vain thing. The Lord too cold, man. We read these scriptures. Call her Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. So like I don't want to be talking too long, but call Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. The Lord too cold, bro. Like that's why the scriptures speak about us having a sure word of prophecy, because the Lord touched all points, bro. He touched all the points. He touched all of them. It's not anything that Esau's doing that we can't go back to the scripture and be like, well, the Lord mentioned this. Because certain things bundle up together. Like what he's doing, it's bundled up into that vain image. And we like, well, the Lord said you're gonna do that. And you read down in that chapter, it says that the one in heaven laughs or mocks you. I think it says in the KJV, it says the one in the heaven mocks you, which means the Lord's like, you really think you're gonna do some shit. At the water for scrolling down, I think it says something about the Lord mocks you or
You have
something.
the testimony of Yahweh.
Yeah, Con, Bubba Shot, could you read that if you don't mind?
Psalms 2 and 4 says, He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision.
Exactly. The one that's sitting in the heavens is going to Yahweh, in the heavenly host, Yahweh Shai. But he laughs through his prophets. You see, the prophets, because as we see Esau do what he do, we see Esau do what he do. We're like, dude, you just falling. That's why, like, brothers, think about it, bro. That infamous quote by Elder Apostle Hart, which is ultimately about the Spirit of the Lord. Esau, what you got to do, Hey, do it quick. You see why? Because the Lord mocks it. The Lord's laughing at it. What Esau's trying to do it quick, nigga, so we get the fuck up out of here. Because at the end of the day, we know what's the end of the script. We know, as the Malak like to say, we know the Lord put the period on shit. You see, and we know the period. We know what's in. We know what's gonna stop. You see. You go ahead. You got him a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it echoes that in the scriptures, man. You know, the devil shall come down unto you, knowing that he shall have a short time. You know, they know they got a short time, man. They know that their time is up. All right, that proverbial writing is on the wall. Just like you brought out the point of Nebuchadnezzar and or I'm sorry, Belshazzar. Or, I'm tripping. Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel the 5th chapter. All right, many tekel, you farsing. All right, you've been weighed and pretty much found lacking, man. This place is lacking. But yeah, let's finish this up.
At a certain point.
At a certain point, after they're done hearing the computer tell them, this is what's going to happen over and over and over and over again, all they become focused on is, how do we fix it?
Why? What is this that's going to happen?
The inevitable contraction of the timelines.
But what does that mean for this reality? You know that?
I don't know that. What I do know is that I was called in and asked to solve this problem, this timeline contraction problem. And I eventually did my due diligence and did all the investigating and basically only had one piece of information, and that was reinforcement. The computer's right. The timelines will contract down to some inevitable thing that you guys won't tell me about, so I can't help you. There is an inevitable event. It's been forecast. It's been predicted. It's been fed to us in a slop trough of what they want us to believe will happen.
But they don't.
However, they don't actually have control over what happens. They only have control over the reaction, and it seems that no matter what they try to do to cause their desired reaction, it's going to have an opposite effect. Now, it's much, much easier for me to explain today what that process is as opposed to back then. But if I had to give it a name, I would say it's the awakening process. It's an evolution of consciousness that cannot, will not, and no matter what decisions or possibilities are injected into the equation, eventually it all resolves down to us all learning the truth and becoming aware of this massive dam of lies that has been built that keep us from knowing massive volume of information that we should otherwise possess.
Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, because what he said is key. And when I come full circle on this thing at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about it more. But just note that he said that this event that all of history is culminating towards, he even calls it an awakening. And if you are familiar with or have followed at all the Q phenomenon, the QAnon posts on, first 4chan, then now 8chan, then
yeah, of course, this nigga Esau gonna talk about some QAnon. That ain't the truth.
Right.
But just listen, pick out the meat and spit out the bones. But listen to what he got to say.
then you may be aware of this term, the Great Awakening, which I myself and many others can contend is occurring right now, is in progress, and is going to get just huge as this year progresses and as time progresses. But that's what he's talking about. It's and he even said it. He talks about it in a couple ways. He talks in one way as if it's an enlightenment, like a consciousness raising, but he also says that it's just a revealing of the truth, right? It's understanding that there's been a dam of lies built up over the centuries, and this awakening is people coming to the knowledge of the truth, and that nothing can stop it. And that is what the elite saw when they looked in the Project Looking Glass and used the machine to run their probabilities. They saw this and were so afraid they couldn't even believe it. So they couldn't deal with it. So this is what scares them, and this is why they had been using this project again and again to try to see if there was some way to change that probability, but they couldn't do it. It's not going to change. And Bill is going to explain even more of that as we continue here.
Because that information was a monumental concern when I was in the military about how to prevent this inevitability. Now, at first I thought it was end of the world. Now I see end of the world as end of their world.
Yeah. Yep. So what we part of, we are witnessing the end of the world, man. In the end of their world, but that's through the instrument of what? It's through the instrument of this truth. All right, the truth. All right, the truth is Like you got fake strength and you got real strength, man.
Right.
Truth is that real strength. All right, real quick. This is First Ezra 4 and 35. It says, "Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore, great is the truth, and stronger than all things." Okay, so yeah, the truth is the strongest
Yep.
of all things. What is that truth? Truth flourish. If I spell flourish right, which I know I didn't. Hold on. GMS spelling. Second Ezra 6 and 28. That's what it is. 6. Second Ezra 6 and 28 says, as for, we'll start at verse 27. For evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. Right. And that's that victory that it talks about in Revelation, the 12th chapter and 11th verse, where it says, and they overcame him by the word of the testimony, the blood of the Lamb. Okay. The truth, which is the word, which is the blood that we would have upon our doorposts, is going to be a preservation agent to save us, man. And ultimately, what they're calling that great awakening is the awakening of the nation of Israel.
That's
The
right.
calling back, the movement, really the repentance. Us repenting, and returning unto Yahweh Shema Shai. What is that? I think that's like Micah. Let me see.
That was a precept I had if you're going into that.
Y'all know where that I will oh, here we go. Micah 7 and 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of Yahweh because I have sinned against him. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. And me and Yazra'Allah, we always bring that out. I will be satisfied when I awake with his likeness. That's when we're gonna be satisfied. But right now, we're bearing the indignation. We're returning. We're out there with the sackcloth on our loins, right, and crying out to Yahweh Shema Shai, asking, plead our cause, and execute judgment. And it said that he will bring us forth to the light, which is the truth, because these things are now being revealed. These things are now being exposed. The darkness, the schemes of the devil. All right. And now we're about to see judgment, because what happens after this? We usually read Micah 7 and 10. And these hoes, after that, these hoes lose. All right. And then yeah. And then we win, right? The Lord, it said that this is my favorite verse in the Bible, right? Micah 7 and 18, man. And through 20. It says, who is like Yahweh? Right. And this is poetic in a sense. All right, who is like God? Right? Because Micah, when you read verse 1, which I'm of Micah, right? It's because remember it said who is like God. Micah, his name means let's see what it means. It's a reference to his
It
name.
means he is like the Most High.
Yeah,
Right.
Michael. Yep. Michael.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pull it up. Yep.
Let's go.
Maya Ka, right? It says who is like Yahweh, right? So he ends it off with this poetic soliloquy, if you will, right? Who is like Yahweh? It's a reference to his name as well, and almost like when you sign a letter, it's like you putting your name at the bottom,
Yep.
and you might write like cheers, so your name, right? This is what Micah is doing on his signing out of the chapter or his book. I mean, it says, who is like Yahweh, like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgression of the remnant, right? That remnant is important. Okay, it says passed by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage. He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. And the Lord does delight in mercy, but that's toward the nation of Israel.
Right.
All right. It says he will turn again. He will have compassion upon us, and he has had compassion upon us through giving us this truth. That's why this, going back to the title of this lesson, the our victory is nigh, man. You know, that's that compassion that he's had upon us, is giving us this truth, man. We've actually stopped receiving lies and been given the truth. You know, that's the greatest love you can ever have. It says he will subdue our iniquities, and thou will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Here's the point: thou wilt perform the truth to Jacob. The Lord is about to perform a work, man, by casting this truth, by casting this work down. All right, that millstone is going to be thrown at the feet of that idol. Okay, this building process that they're building up is Project Looking Glass, Project Stargate, man. It's all going to be brought to naught, and you know, the elect is going to win. It says, "And the mercy of Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old." That's the truth that the Lord is going to perform. This promise that He's promised since the book of Genesis, man. You know, the beginning is the beginning is of the end is nigh, man. The end of the Esau's world is the beginning of Jacob's. That's the promise that we're waiting on.
God, I got a precept.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to pull same book, Micah 2, start there at 1.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just beautiful what the priest brought out. Ultimately, all this stuff was foretold to happen, and we are living the last few minutes of this man's kingdom. And just like you heard the guy here say, where pretty much Esau is scrambling, right? They're trying to figure out a way out of this slippery slope, ultimately, that the Lord has put them in. And Luke 12 says that there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that should be known. So we know that we're in that time of what? Revelations, the revealing. Okay. And so this is why ultimately why these people are afraid, as he said. Now here, this is, I just want to start at 2 or start at 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, prasio, because it is in the power of their hand. Right. So these laws, these legislations, these ideologies have been in the works for many, many years in the dark. Okay. As we know that their biggest form of power was secrecy, right? Not knowing who they were. And so, but now we're in this time of the revealing where everything's being made known. But here it says that they practice going into what? Prasio, meaning office. So they were put in office to do this because it is in the power of their hand. Job 9:24, right? The world was given into the hands of the wicked, right? When you actually had that understanding. So with all these things that are happening and taking place, these things were foretold to happen. It goes on to say they covered fields. Are you grabbing that word, Salakia?
Kind of. I was just looking at it real quick.
Yeah, no, come. That's beautiful.
It says Aisha, to do work, to work. You know, they often call that work the great work. You know, that they're trying to perform. You know,
right. You see, this is their job. Ultimately, they were put in office to exercise, govern. I saw a couple
it's
of definitions.
9 o'clock.
So they were put in office. Job 9:24. The world was given and these people to do something. And it goes on to say, 2 and 2. They covet fields and take them by violence. Houses, they take them away and oppress them. A man, a house, and even a man in his heritage. So when we look at the incident that happened in the Carolinas with these floods that took place, what was one of the main things that the media didn't talk about? They didn't talk about the lithium mines that were there, right? Because we know during that time, previously before the floods came, there were a lot of people within that areas that were fighting for years on end with the state because the state was trying to remove these people from the lands. Why? Because they were filled with lithium mines there. Okay, so they couldn't get the people out of the land. So just so happened, you got a flood in the mountains. And all of a sudden, all these people all these people are now moved out of their home. Why? And then here comes FEMA comes in, or EMA, Salakia, right? To get what? These lithiums, right? And we know what lithiums are used for, technology. This is part of this man's enterprise. This is what he uses to build this man's enterprise, right? To build his enterprise. Everything they do is done with purpose and reason behind it. Okay, so the Bibles are is pretty much exposing this man. If you understand and see the way this man's moves in the earth, when you look at his history and the things that he's done, and how the Bible explains him, his characteristics, through process elimination throughout all the nations, is without a doubt Esau, even the self-proclaimed white man. All right, goes on to say, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family I do devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. So what's that family? Well, Genesis 36:8 says what? Esau is Edom, his nation. Malachi 1:4 says what? The people whom the Lord have indignation for, Esau, Edom. So this is that family that the Lord is talking about, that the Lord has that righteous anger and indignation forever. And the Lord has set them in a slippery slope right now where they are not able to remove their necks. What? From this guillotine, from this judgment that's getting ready to take place. And that's ultimately what they're trying to do. They're scrambling. They're looking for any way out. But we see right here, the Lord said, you're not going anywhere. You're going to get this work. Why? Because ultimately we're coming into the days of evil, right? The cup of the Lord's indignation is being passed on to Esau, Edom, and they don't want to drink it. But it was mandated and written from the beginning of time that they will. But you got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because somebody might say, that, well, and they would be partially correct. This is referring to the nation of Israel,
Right.
because this chapter is going to the wicked priests
Mhm.
of the nation of Israel. But like the point that you made in verse 1, it says, because it is in the power of their hand, right? This is when we was at some point independent.
Mhm.
Right now, the power is not in our hand.
Mhm.
Now the power is not in our hands. So this is the nation of Israel. We was pretty much following after the other nations,
Yep.
and coming in that same spirit as Esau Edom. And this is what he does, man. He covets fields and takes it by violence. They press a man in his house and the man in his heritage. And of course our people have taken part in that as well. But today this applies to Esau Edom, you know.
Right. No, beautifully said.
And that family, that family is gonna get you know, coals put upon their head, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel gonna get fucked up too. Like, don't get it twisted, man. Our people, we've been trying to tell y'all the truth, but y'all want to believe in lies, man. Y'all want to be pacified in lies, speak vanity upon to them, right? Um, yeah, that's gonna be your shame. Matter of fact, um,
I got a precept, unless you got one. What's
kind of,
like
I'm
an
gonna read.
onion?
You said what's what?
Nah, I was like, you go and read your precept. I did have a precept, like another one, but you go ahead. You got it though. You got it.
Okay. This is Isaiah 30:1. It says, woe to the rebellious children of the Lord that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. And here it is, 2025, man. Things are being revealed. And our people, they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to anything the men of the Lord had to say, anything the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is trying to tell them. They're completely enamored at these project, these solutions that Esau is offering, man. But they ain't listening to what the Lord is saying. It says that walk to go into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Because as we can see, man, as this Edomite was, he's scared as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this nigga.
It's
Look at he trying to laugh about. Look at the body language here.
utter fear.
You know,
Yep.
crossed his legs. He castrating himself, prostrating himself. He's like, look,
It's like pains
you
like a
wouldn't
woman.
believe the shit that I seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a woman, man. Like a brother said, he's talking about this, but he ain't really. He's like under a what are those contracts you can't really speak about certain things.
Gag order, things
Yeah,
like
he's under a gag order, man. I'd be surprised if this nigga's still alive.
right.
He might have just had a brain aneurysm.
Right. I got a car accident.
Yeah, randomly, who knows, man. But they would rather trust in this place, which they've even seen it behind the scenes that it's done, it's finished.
You know,
So what the fuck does an Israelite have to be doing to be hugging Babylon the Great, man? You're gonna find yourself falling in that fire trying to hold on to this shit.
That's why a lot of Israelites gonna die, man, because he's saying, how can we fix it? Fix it mean that, you know, some people gotta die. Especially,
Yep.
dealing with the nation of Israel, because that, trying to keep that truth away. And even Revelation 12 and 17, as it reads, and the dragon was wrought with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. This is what's happening right now because he's trying to fix it. And one big thing that these, not only the nations have a problem with, but the wicked 2/3 of our people is with Yahweh Shai being like them. That's one of the things, and these prophecies that's going out, that we read in what's that, Revelation 19 and 10 or 11, about the Yahweh Shai's and the spirit of prophecy. They understanding what the prophets are saying on the street. So
sure they do.
a lot of people gonna die, man. Cause they Esau gonna do whatever he try to do to fix it. And I'm just, speaking of, the 2/3, and then that's why we out here for the chosen and the elect, because this is what this man is ready to come down with. And that's why they scared. But that's it. That's
Yep.
all I got, man.
Yep. No, that's exact. That's right. That's right.
They got a precept. If anybody else ain't got nothing. It's probably my last one.
I think Roger, you had something, right? You was gonna get.
Brother.
Oh, I don't want to pull a quick point. Could you go back to that Micah 7,
Mm-hmm.
Kind.
that Micah 7, and I think you read verse 9.
I will bear the indignation of the Lord.
That means some people.
Because I read the
Micah
end of
7
it
and
too.
9.
9 or 7?
Let me see. Was you in Micah 7?
Yeah, we
Was
was in
you?
Micah.
You was
We
in
was in
Micah.
Micah 7 and 2 and 2. We was
Yeah.
in Micah 7 and 2.
I know. You had
The
read
power of
2.
their hand, they practice might.
Like a 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2.
Nah, read Micah 7 and 9. The reason I wanted you to read that because the thing about Esau that which we're gonna pull it, but read Micah 7 and 9, Baba Killa.
Mm-hmm. This is Micah 7. Oh, Salaki, I wasn't sharing. I thought I was sharing the screen the whole time. My bad, brothers. Micah 7 and 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of Yahweh because I have sinned against him. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness.
Exactly, and that's a tie to Revelation 11:11, because the reason I wanted you to read it, because when you read Psalms 50, it goes into how the Lord saying to Esau that you thought that I was altogether with thee. So Esau, he didn't think, right? He didn't think that we would come back to the obedience of the scriptures. You see, he didn't think that. He thought that we would just go off and we'd be fucked up, and then the Lord put him in a trick bag to making him think that he was for what Esau was doing. Because when you see the things that Esau do, as scriptures go into how since judgment is not executed speedily, I'm saying the heart of man is setting him to do wicked. So, Esau had the mindset that he was doing just fine. And it didn't ever cross his mind that
A lot of
there
people.
was a certain number that would come back to the obedience of the scriptures. That's why I want you to read it, Micah 7 and 9, because this, the elect, they'll be the ones that will bear the indignation of the Lord,
Yeah.
which indignation means righteous anger. They'll be the ones that will come back to the obedience of the scriptures because the Lord predestined it. But Esau didn't think that. He thought, oh, once I conquer the nation of Israel, indoctrinate them with their bullshit, they ain't gonna never go back. That's why he was so astonished when he seen the apostles out there. The apostles going through all the time. How a black limo pulled up, man, talking about we paid top dollars and not make y'all know this information, but y'all know it. Esau didn't consider that, you know. He thought he had it in the church. He thought he had it, in a bag, but literally he know that the Lord orchestrating the full show. So you can go ahead and read it, Baba Kashaf, if you don't mind.
The Psalms.
Come on, Baba Kashaf.
Yep, this is Psalms 50 and 21. It says, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou
Exactly.
thoughtest."
You see,
Mhm.
it's like I don't want to cut you off, but you see, you know what I'm saying? When you read the scripture, I think it's Zephaniah or Zechariah, it goes into how you had for, you had help for the affliction. You see? So here it is, you're for the affliction of Israel. And the Lord ain't did it. But we know why the Lord ain't did that, because the Lord revealed it unto us. Like the Lord didn't do nothing yet because he had to wait for the cup to be filled up. You see? But you're looking at like, and then you're carnal at the end of the day. So you're seeing what's going on. You're like, well, I'm good. You see, I've been jacking up the nation of Israel, and the Lord ain't did nothing. But little did you know that the Lord always had a remnant that he was going to always fight for in the times we're coming to. So that specific number was going to be part of the plan the Lord had to bring the rest of the nation Israel back through those specific individuals. See, so you got it.
Yeah, the house of David. It says, "These things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes."
And that's what you see happening. That's why Esau pulled up in the limo and hopped out and said, "We paid top dollar," because now he's seeing that the Lord is setting us in order right before their eyes. Esau's carnal. You got to remember that. Esau's carnal.
Yeah.
Esau's thinking like, damn. Because you got to think about it. Esau, he did all the carnal investigation that he's did. Okay, they built the temple. Usually, when the Israelites are joined to power, they have a temple, a physical temple. But now, in this time, it's not a physical temple; it's a spiritual temple. But Esau's carnal, so he's looking like, y'all ain't got no physical temple. So why the hell are y'all coming in this energy? Coming in this energy where you're obeying the scriptures. Why are you doing this? Because he's carnal. You see, and at the same time, going to the scripture, he thought the Lord was with him too. He thought that he's been doing all this bullshit. You gotta remember, man. 430 years. That's a long ass time. 400, that's not short. 430 years was out the Lord. We had the Lord had us in. Well, we had discontinued, and we was doing our own thing in wickedness. But that time has been fulfilled, and we're coming back. You know what I'm saying? To the obedience of scripture. That's that prophecy. That's why I quoted Revelation 11, because that's why I says great fear fell upon them that saw when they stand up, because Esau's looking at us standing up. And he's like, bro, this whole time I've had y'all in folly. Brothers, man, you think about brothers, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from, oh, I lived in the hood. Oh, X, Y, and D, I lived in the ghetto. But at the end of the day, Lord, when it be that number, the Lord had to set it to where his elect was going to come into the obedience of scripture, no matter where they was scattered or a position they was in. And Esau can't fathom that. And that's fucking him up. That's what's throwing him off, because once again, I'm saying Esau is a carnal man.
Mhm.
He's carnal. The scriptures say the natural man receiving as spiritual things. Well, she's a heathen at the end of the day, but he doesn't understand the concept of what the Lord is playing out right here. Like you read in Micah 7. I will bear the indignation. Oh, so it'll be individuals that will bear the indignation of the Lord until he plead their cause. And we see the Lord pleading the cause of his men by giving us that word. And Esau can't fathom that. So he's scattering paper. He's like, fuck, I didn't know this shit was gonna happen. Fuck, I thought I had it all on lock. But the Lord wanted it like that because that shows his power. Because in the day, it's all to exalt the name of the Lord. But you got it. That's all I had.
Con. Did other brother have something else?
Yeah, I had that Job 5 and 12. I think that was pretty much the last one I had. 5, 12, and 13.
Okay.
If you want to pull that really quick, Mabu Kashab.
Yeah.
Because we know, as the priests have been bringing out, just the timeline that we're in, and how the Lord set everything up, and we see how it all is moving and taking place. We see the urgency within the nations, chiefly within Esau, Edom, and everything that's happening. So as we know, Revelation 12:12 says that he's coming down with great wrath because he knoweth that he has but a short time, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so the Lord is pretty much frustrating the plans of these people. All right, but this is again written and ordained from the beginning foundations to happen. So this is Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Can you go into that word devices, if you will, in the root word? I think it's hashaka or something like that. Babakusha. And I just thought that this was interesting because this man is what scripture talks about, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? Which is his sword, everything that he uses pretty much that will pretty much steer, or the end result always leads in death, right? I think if you get the root word, I believe it's 2803. That's it. That's it. Come on.
This chashab says to think, to plan, calculate, esteem, make judgment, imagine, count.
Go down. Let me get a word specifically right there. Let me see.
Figuratively, to plot or contrive. In a malicious sense, to think, regard, value, compute.
Go up top. Start at the very beginning. No, up top. Salakia, right? We started. Primitive root properly. Yeah.
Yep. Primitive root properly, to palate, or interpret.
That's the word I wanted. Interpenetrate.
Oh, interpenetrate. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me.
Yeah.
Actually, I've never even heard of it.
Yes, go into that word. Interpenetrate. When you go into that word, it means to mix or merge together. So this is what this man's device is. What? Merging man with machine. Ultimately, I don't know if you go into that, if it'll let you go into that.
I'm pulling up the etymology.
That's one of the definitions, but I just thought that it was heavy, because we know that this man's the whole fourth industrial revolution, as one of the priests brought out, was merging man with machine. This whole thing is all about. This whole fourth industrial revolution, this whole race is pretty much merging humans with machine via MOTB, right? Via the smart cities, all right? And all of this technology. What's going back into what? That techno tyranny that we were talking about earlier. All right, Salakia. So we know that we're in this man. Oh, Salakia, you got it.
No. Slack. Finish your point, please.
No, so we know that this man knows that he is at the end. Job 14:5 says that the Lord has set his bounds in which he cannot pass, roughly paraphrasing. So we are at that latter end time, 2nd Ezra 6:9, where Esau is at the end of his world, or his age, all right, and the beginning of Jacob's. So he's getting ready to come down with great wrath because he knows who's coming up next. All right. So in the midst of this man, he's perfected his sword, right? All of his technology, all right, and he's scrambling, trying to get out of this judgment that's fast approaching, and ultimately he can't, and he knows it. So what's the last thing he's going to resort to at the end of the day? He's going to resort to his blessing, man. All right, that's the only thing that he has, and he's going to be, as scripture says, as madmen sparing none. All right, but before that happens, all right, the Lord has to be frustrated. And that's what's happening. As you see this man in this video, he's scared shitless. All right. The elites, as he said, they worry. They're in fear, and they're frustrated because they're looking for any way out of this scenario. But as the scripture talks about, the Lord talks about it, that in what does I want to say? That's Psalm 73, talking about how the Lord has them in the slippery places. Right. So this is basically a trap or scenario. A trap that these guys have pretty much built to put themselves in via the spirit and the power of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, man. And we're at the end of this man's nightmare. So there ain't no getting out. Judgment is coming. All right. So that's pretty much what I had.
Can I play like 2 more minutes of this? Because it was I was watching it a little bit while brothers were speaking, but it's got like a little more meat on it.
Yeah, note that he said that, that the elites felt like it's the end of the world, but it's really the end of the charade that they've been playing on the people of Earth for centuries. And it's the revealing of truth that has been hidden for my whole lifetime, probably for many lifetimes. So that is what they're seeing through the project there. Now, this part that I'm about to play for you is probably one of the most significant ones for me as a Christian to hear, because he talks about, well, I'll just play it, but he gets into some kind of almost eschatological type of discussion without even mentioning God, but you'll see what he says here.
Any attempts to try to go away from this one inevitable conclusion, I again see as a new beginning, an end of this reality, the beginning of something that we can't even possibly understand based on the level of our beliefs currently. But when all that information comes flooding out, there's going to be no denying what's true and what's a lie or what's illusion. We won't have the choice to believe that 9/11 happened because of a bunch of terrorists, because we'll know exactly what's happened. Basically, what we're experiencing right now is two master chess players sitting at the board. And one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves. And he looks across at his opponent, and he knows that his opponent sees it too. So there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. The game, both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. We, as a race, if we can understand that the game is over, that based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win.
I think this is a beautiful point to close out on.
Mm.
You know,
Hey, that's heavy because it makes you think about not to be boasting about me, nothing, but like the Lord put the spirit on me, and I made a video about how Malak know because he had pointed out, he's like, I made a video going to how the Lord is playing chess, not checkers.
Yep.
You know, and Esau, he literally just mentioned it, like how chess player, but nah, Esau, you playing checkers. The Lord is playing chess. And the reason I wanted to put that comparison, because when I went into chess not checkers, the actual, that concept of that saying, it pretty much means like that the person that's playing chess is on a far another level that's, not in even comparison to the checkers player, that he can't even comprehend what he's doing. As you could say, the Lord's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And he was talking about the ones in the know. So how much more the heathen? If he told us, he told Ezra, he told us the elect, then my thoughts going to be higher than your thoughts, my ways higher than your ways. How much more the heathen, that they don't even have the authority to even proclaim his ways? So that lets you know that the Lord don't give an understanding of his ways. You see? I just wanted to add that out there, but you got him.
Yeah, man. I mean, the game is over. The game is literally over. Israel is still playing games, of course. So, you're gonna get played. And eventually we're gonna see who the winners and the losers are. Like that's what's next. But the truth the line has gone forth, and we'll see. Like the scriptures say, who has believed our report. It's not for everybody to believe, but those that do, well, you might find yourself on the winning side of prophecy. And that's where we hope to be by making these lessons. Here it is. It's a Tuesday night. It's freezing outside, but the spirit is on us. The fire is within us to continue to do the work. So, Lord willing, that's going to keep ablaze until the final day before our Lord returns. And, that's what we look for. We're preparing our minds to come to, grips with, making ourselves the best possible man that we could be before we see his return, and yeah, that's what we focused on right now. So, this ministry is it's coming to a conclusion, and we know that Esau is coming down with great wrath, but we know what we got, and we know that our warfare is not carnal, it's spiritual, and we know that the truth is ultimately going to be preserved. So I believe that the point was pretty much made. Any kind of precepts y'all brothers add to the comments, please. Any questions y'all have, add to the comments. We love to engage with y'all. And yeah, if the brothers didn't have a point, we go ahead and close out.
Shit. It's like,
I had a precept.
yeah, well, I got
It's like
something.
my bag of
Come on.
My bad. You can say here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Well, I was just gonna kind of quote it, really. It just makes me think about that 2 Corinthians 13:8. For we can't do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So, Esau, man, he just clear as day that he can't do nothing against it. All right. Only thing he's doing, I was like, you pulling it up. My bad.
Yeah, you said 14?
13 and 8.
13. Okay.
Yeah, you said Corinthians 13 and 8.
Hey, you got it, man.
Oh, it pops up anyway.
Oh, dang. What the hell?
Yeah, well, he was just in it.
There is no 14th chapter.
God.
It say 2 Corinthians 13:8. It says, "For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth."
God, Esau think he could do something against the truth, come against Yahweh Shai, when you really can't, right? As the brothers, as y'all got in that Psalms 2, man, how the Lord shall have them in derision, right? And then where derision, it goes into in a mocking, if I'm not mistaken, mocking. Why you think Esau's mocking the Lord now, right? The Lord got him in that sense. But Esau, he sees that, obviously he sees that, he can't do nothing. It makes me think about that movie. I think it's Avengers Endgame. I think that's what it is. But it's the movie where Doctor Strange, it's Avengers, where he found try to look for every possible way to beat Thanos, but it was one. Really, when really it's really not one. Right, there's literally no possible thing you can do against Yahweh Shem Shai. But for the sake of the movie, of course, they said, "Oh, it's only one way." Nah, it wasn't no way, to be honest. But yeah, that's all.
Hey, when we was submit.
God, you got it, bro.
Nah, you got it. That was a beautiful precept. So don't even pull mine. That's it.
Okay. Any other brother have points, precepts?
I just want to just add, and then, in the Old Testament scripture talks about the Lord says, pretty much roughly paraphrasing, fear not, I have defeated Satan. So ultimately, over 2,000 years ago, we've already gotten the victory, man. So as we always say, we just have to live it out. And this man in this video knows that. He sees that it's over. The game is over. It's done. So now it just has to play out. We've already won. So endure, Yasharallah, the elect, hopeful elect.
Yep. Keep enduring. Whatever you're going through is for a purpose, ultimately to make you stronger. The Lord put you through it, man. You can handle it.
That's right.
You just got to know who you are, right? If you putting on the elect, then you know that this shit ain't gonna be easy, but the elect will be able to get through it. So if you putting that on, that means conquering the stuff in your daily life, which we all go through. So, yeah. But with that, we want to go ahead and give all praise, all glory, and to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakodash. Okay, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, those making their bodies living sacrifice. Okay, keep going. Shalom.
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 Hey,